I'm sure you've heard the adage before, that war never changes. But war has changed a great many things. The world, humanity. My name is Cylan Road. I'm a Wastelander from Colorado, a nomad who wanders from place to place. After a chance encounter with a man named Floyd, I find myself traveling west to Utah. Maybe here I can find a foothold, somewhere where I can make a name for myself, somewhere where I can find a home that isn't at the bottom of a bottle. But honestly, the only thing you really need to know about me is that I am not the Courier.
Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me.
Getting the impression I shouldn't mess with Mickey.
I wear red because I like the challenge to be a permanent target.
A few days ago, I saw a three-eyed raven.
A three-eyed raven. I wonder. Don't suppose... maybe... No. Damn.
You better stay out of my way, friend.
Between you and red jumpsuit over there. Y'all have a great sense of humor here. Whoa. Huh. Hey, zombie, what's up?
Hey there. What can old Sam do for you?
Nah, just rolled in. What can you tell me about the area?
The Great Salt Lake has become an important hub during the recent conquest of the North, and as a stopover on the way to the east. Out here is mostly no man's land with some communities in between. To the southeast is the territory of the Legion, and in the west the borders of the NCR begins. The rail trucker and us, a loose network of places, which have joined together in the Salt Lake Trading Union, controls the rails and trails around here. The rail network was repaired with our cold sweat, and is the only safe route past the territory of the Legion, by taking the route over the Bonneville Flats. The Boneville Flats, so called the endless salt desert between us and Wendover. 100 miles across the plain, without shade, without water, without protection.
So, without the train, it's a death sentence. I gotcha. What about more locally? What can you tell me about Mickey's?
I built this place here, something like 30 years ago. Mickey, Kenny, LeChuck and I. At that time, there was only rubble and wasteland here. It all started in the south, at the reservation. Mickey was commander of the elite guard of Willem Clark. We used to call him Colonel Green. Today he calls himself only Mickey. After his conflict with Clark, he wanted nothing to do with the reservation and his old life.
Sorry, I've never heard of this. What is the reservation?
The reservation, formerly known as the Nuclear Testing Facility of Los Alamos. Top secret, full of pre-war tech and state-of-the-art weapon technology. During the war, the surrounding area was hit by several bombs and irradiated, but the facility itself remained largely untouched. In the underground complex of the facility, there lived and worked over 1,500 people at the time of the Great War. Many of them survived the direct nuclear attack, but only 40 of them survived the creeping radiation and became ghouls. One of these 40 was Dr. Willem Clark, a high-ranking scientist of the institution. 10 years of waiting passed before Dr. Clark turned his back on the facility and went with 12 others to wander through the wasteland. Almost a year later, he returned. Nobody but him of the original 12 survived, but he had gathered over 4 dozen new followers around him. Ghouls, whom he had met on his journey, and who wanted to escape the oppression and hatred of the normal people. He called us ghouls the children of the Wasteland, and he wanted to give us a new home, the reservation. That was his vision, and we all followed him. Some say he was already mad at that time, but I believe that came sometime later. In any case, that's how it started back then. Do you want to know more about it?
So a zombie and an idealist. I see. Yeah, go ahead.
Very well. Under the leadership of Dr. Willem Clark, we built our new home from the ruins of Los Alamos, the reservation. Los Alamos was a true gold mine that allowed us to build an imposing defense system. Dr. Willem Clark was extremely paranoid and was always afraid of a military strike from the Smoothies. No defense mechanism was ever good enough for him. But our greatest protection was the radiation, which lay over the whole complex like a warming blanket. So the years went by and the reservation grew. There was even a trading post with the Smoothies at the gates of the reservation. Dr. Willem Clark, however, became increasingly strange. While many of us began to become used to the Smoothies, his fanaticism intensified. He wanted to defeat our infertility in order to form a completely new breed from us ghouls. A breed that should ultimately dominate the new world. The children of the Wasteland would at last take their legacy and destroy the Smoothies, the relics of a lost time. For his cruel experiments, he had female slaves caught to use as hosts. These poor creatures usually died in pain and misery. Nobody can say how many poor creatures found their death deep down in the forbidden third level. But one day, Clark made the impossible. A ghoul was born, and he named his creation Belle. For a ghoul, she was a real beauty. In spite of her terrible origin, she was a truly magical being, and everyone was crazy about her, including me. Some of the doubters believed again, and that the ghoul sanctified all means. More slaves were captured and tortured. But the success rate was low. 3 more ghoul children could be created, but they had imperfections. They were not like Belle. Above all, the price. The price was just too high. Even today, the thoughts about what we did still torment me. There are probably still slaves slaughtered and tortured down there in the dark chambers of the reservation.
Natural-born ghouls. That sounds crazy. What happened to Belle?
I rather prefer not to talk about that.
Why did Mickey and William part ways?
Mickey is a tough bastard, but not a monster. He still shares many views with Clark, but Clark has crossed the line for him. For Clark, Smoothies were nothing more than animals, and his experiments were cruel, gruesome. Establish the ghouls in the world and loathe the Smoothies. That's one thing, but no living creature should be tormented like that. Mickey didn't forget that we were once Smoothies too. He didn't deny our roots, and he doesn't torture anyone. Mickey couldn't accept Clark's methods anymore. He convinced his best people and pulled them to his side. He could have overthrown Clark and become the ruler of the reservation, but he respected his leader. Instead, we went into exile. I, his brother Kenny, his closest friend Joseph, and some more ghouls followed him. To this day, we have never returned to the reservation.
And that's quite the story. What can you say about Mickey?
He used to be called Colonel Green. He was the commander of the elite guard of the reservation. He, so to speak, established the elite force there. Before Mickey and Kenny came to us, we were a bunch of scientists and some normal survivors from the Wasteland. No one was really trained in combat. Sure, we had staff for the guard, but that was just anyone who could hold a gun. Mickey and Kenny joined later. Just 2 of the survivors who later settled in the reservation. Mickey took over the command of the guard team rather quickly and brought in proper training and structure. So it started with Colonel Mickey Green. No one really cared if he really was a colonel or not. One thing is for certain, he protects his friends as faithfully as he traces and massacres his enemies. But you'd better ask him yourself. He doesn't like it when someone talks too much about him. You'll mostly find him in his residence.
I see. Wow. So, how was Mickey's Motors itself developed?
After leaving the reservation, we roamed around for a while, plundering pre-war ruins and trading the junk. Many of the old cities are still radioactive. Proper ghost towns, full of feral ghouls and other mutants. For normal people like you, they're absolute death zones. Nobody dares to go there. For Mickey and his crew, however, they were the real gold mines. We ghouls are immune to radiation and the ferals leave us alone. Oftentimes we could plunder the ghost towns completely undisturbed. The villages and tribes snatched the stuff out of our hands, and we soon had a small fortune. But we needed a place to hoard all our plunder, and where we could sell the goods directly to our clients. This is how Mickey's Motors was born. This canyon seemed perfect to us, secured in 3 directions by massive rock walls, and easy to defend. Nowadays, Mickey is too lazy for scavenging. Only the ruins south of Toxicton are still being searched by LeChuck and his crew.
I never considered how fortuitous it could be for a ghoul scavenger immune to radiation. But, anyway.
Already done.
What's the latest news in this area in Utah?
I've heard the Burnt Man is back. He was seen in Zion Canyon.
That's impossible. Anything else?
The Legion's been peaceful lately. Just let the NCR and Legion bash their skulls together for all our sakes.
Amen, brother. So, you've told me about the reservation and Willem Clark and Mickey. What about Uncle Sam?
Oh, there's really not much to say. I'm just a simple bartender.
Just a simple bartender. Alright, Sam. I'll see you around. Thanks for the chit-chat.
Fare thee well.
Don't mess with Mickey.
Yeah, that's the impression I've got. Thanks. Well, I assume this must be Mickey's place. Hey.
What do you want from Mickey?
Just want to chat.
Disappear. You don't talk to Mickey. You only listen.
Oh, I see. Huh. Well, alright then. Huh. Wonder if he has any garbage. Fuel cell controller. Huh, that sounds important. Huh. Hold on to that. Hey, what's going on up there?
Good day.
Good day. What are you doing?
Can you not see? I guard this gate. I also look after the income from the brothel business. But to put it more precisely,
brothel.
I take care that the slaves don't run off and that the suitors behave decently.
I guess, all things considered, that is an important task.
You could say that. Mickey, trust me. I've worked hard on this.
Alright, I'll see you later.
Good journey.
So, that just leaves that inconspicuous building by where Floyd parked. Hey, Floyd. Let me guess, don't mess with Mickey?
Don't mess with Mickey.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey, what's up?
Good day.
Good day. Is this all your workshop?
Yeah, sure. They're all my own design.
Does that make you, the chief mechanic?
Chief mechanic. Yes, you could say that. Even though I'm the only mechanic here anyway. Well, a couple of the guys help me, of course. Sometimes. But most of them cannot distinguish a wrench from a hammer.
Sorry. Is that turbine supposed to be running? Isn't that kind of dangerous?
Oh, no. Do not worry. Sure, that thing could explode, but it won't. Definitely not. Also, I have to test the part, you see. Imagine it would fail on the way, or even worse, it would explode. No. Tests have to be run. This is important.
I'll just take your word for it. I drove here with Floyd. You must be Kenny. He told me that sometimes you sell off old vehicles. Any truth to that?
Yes, that's absolutely right. Sometimes I even provide cars free of charge, if I get the missing parts to fix them. You know, there are thousands of broken car hulls everywhere, but the tricky thing is to get the spare parts. A customer without a vehicle generates no income for me, besides a broken gun repair now and then. But a customer with a vehicle is a permanent source of caps, because there's always something broken with these old cars. Guess who can fix it? See, for example, this amazing highwayman before my shack. Very nice hull, but a few core parts are missing. You could help me with that. When we get the car running, you can have it, as long as you always maintenance in here. I'll have to sign a maintenance contract for that. Floyd and a couple of the others did so, and are happy customers.
I could have a car. Just like that. Well, you got a deal. I always wanted a car.
Awesome. I need a fuel cell controller and a working engine. Perhaps one of the scrap cars
No
still
shit.
has an intact engine. I haven't looked yet, because without the fuel cell controller, the whole thing makes no sense. And where one should find such a thing, I unfortunately have no idea.
Alright. As it so happens, I already found the fuel cell controller. Just laying in a dumpster. See what I can do about the engine.
That's the spirit.
See you once I find it. Take it easy, Kenny.
Bye.
As far as zombies go, I'd say he has a good head for business. I like Kenny. Well, I guess I can't very well take Floyd's engine, huh? I don't suppose I could just poke around these things, could I? Well, that was easy. Assuming a trunk engine can work in a car. Guess I don't really know. I guess if you're just building a business and not a civilization, this is quite the setup. I want to talk to Sam more. But to be honest, I'm excited about this car. Still not messing with Mickey, don't worry. Oh. Huh. Guess I shouldn't be running for the guns, huh? Yeah, now he's got it. Good shooting. Teach them to mess with Mickey, huh? Hey, Kenny.
Good day.
Let's talk about the car.
And do you have the parts?
I believe I do. Let's get you
Awesome.
started.
I get to work immediately. Please sign the contract during your wait.
I can do that.
The car purrs like a sweet baby kitten. A real miracle of technology. And best of all, it belongs to you, my friend. You all alone. Is this to be believed? Shall I tweet you?
I do kind of feel like I'm dreaming. So, sure, you know what? Go for it. Tweak me.
Tweak and twack. Chickens don't quack. Funny, eh? Every 3 months, you should come to maintenance. for the price of friendship, of course. In addition, I can offer you, for a tiny fee, some modifications in the car. We can talk about this later in more detail. Now, have a lot of fun and a good trip. Oh, and before I forget, the car, of course, also needs fuel. So, always take a few microfusion cells with you. You can get them from Joseph.
Joseph, microfusion cells. We'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Kenny. I'll see you around.
See you around. Wait a moment. If you get the chance to meet a cute ghoul babe out there, please tell her that a lonesome technician is waiting for her at Mickey's Motors. And these slaves are no good for me. Kenny wants something honest. True love, you know. I hope you understand that. I was never a womanizer. I could always fix the sinks, while Mickey has sunk other things. And now as a ghoul, my chance is probably not proved. But maybe you find somewhere out there a ghoul lady who feels similar.
You know what, for Kenny. For you, Kenny, I'll keep my eyes open.
Thank you. You won't regret it. I'll name my kids after you.
Now hold you to that. I want Cylan the Ghoul Baby. See you around, Kenny. Making sure those mole rats aren't messing with Mickey, right? Yeah, you are. Huh. Well, how about that? Before I set off, probably stop by the bar again. Yeah, I guess. Do I even have any money? 6 caps. Oof. Sam probably won't even give me a drink. Damn. Gonna have to find work out here in Utah before too long. One hand, I need microfusion cells. On the other, need a good source. Jesus. Need a good source of booze. Hey, Sam.
Hey there. What can old Sam do for you?
What else can you tell me about this place?
What do you want to know?
Never mind.
Already done.
Actually, you know what? I'll see you around, Sam.
Fare thee well.
In another life and time, I might have become a vegetable gardener.
Sure thing. Ah, Joseph. You must be who sells me my microfusion cells.
What do you want?
Nothing yet. Just thought I'd stop by and introduce myself. What do you got on sale?
This.
Straight to it. Oh. Wow. That's quite the ammo. Whoa. You got an arsenal in there, don't you? Wow. I'm kind of shocked by your stock, LeChuck. And there are those microfusion cells, just like Kenny said. You and I we'll get to know each other. See you around, LeChuck. Well then, I guess that means I better get out there and start making some money. Now I can keep my car running. Well, Off into Utah. Let's see how far what I got can get me. And so just like that, my journey in Utah began. I felt like I hadn't even been here 30 minutes. And even in that time, a ghoul named Kinney set me up with my own Chryslerman. I'd never felt more free. Throughout my time in the Wasteland, in Colorado, I learned that most tales in the Wasteland don't have a happy ending. But with this car, and the open road in front of me, maybe I can make my story something a little more than miserable.